How do you respond to your ex's sexual texts? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. But first, my name is Clay with modernlove.life, where we help you get the great loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not. Because you, of course, deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. And if you agree with me and you want to help a guy out with his YouTube channel, hit that thumbs up button. It sends a good message to the YouTube algorithm that says this is a great video, and you might want to give it a little bit of a lift in your search results, YouTube. So hit that thumbs up button. And feel free to subscribe to the channel as well down below so that you can get notified when we publish and upload new videos. Okay. Also, I did want to mention that we are talking about emotional connections in this video. If that is something that you want a little bit of help with, we do, of course, have our course called the X Solution Program. You can go ahead and find information on that down below in the description box. But anyway, what we're talking about here is when you get a sexual text from your ex, maybe the two of you aren't talking so much, maybe talk every once in a while, and then you get one of these texts out of nowhere where they're in a mood, and you don't know how to respond. What exactly do you do? Do you go into it? Do you hold back? Where do you go? And there's a couple of things that we need to think about first. First, I want you to think about, do you feel comfortable engaging with your ex in this way, even if there's no sort of relationship payoff in the end? Like, do you feel comfortable just like sexting with your ex, or flirting back and forth with your ex, or, maybe even hooking up if it comes to that, even if it doesn't lead to anything in the long run? The problem with a lot of people is that they don't feel comfortable doing this sort of thing if it doesn't lead to something in the long run. But the problem with that is that it's a setup with a covert contract, right? You have this sort of implicit agreement in your mind that says, okay, we're gonna, sext or hook up later today or whatever. And then that's gonna cause you to fall back in love with me because I agreed to do this with you. And that is obviously not a great place to be in a lot of ways, in a lot of different areas, but, especially when it comes to, sleeping together, because there's often a lot of emotion wound up in that. Your ex might just be looking to have a great physical time. And if you're looking for some sort of commitment as a payoff for doing this, it could potentially be a big setup for frustration on your part and for a rough time ahead. So I would be really careful about that. If you are okay with that, if you're okay to just enjoy it for what it is, whether or not it leads to something else or not, sure, go ahead and just enjoy it. But if you notice that there's a part of you that says, okay, I'm not fully okay with this just as it is, I would need there to be some sort of payoff in the end for me to feel good about it, then I would be really careful about this, okay? What we want to do as well is we want to make the distinction between the physical connection that you have with your ex and the emotional connection that you have with your ex, okay? There are a lot of people out there who are, terrified about being put in the friend zone, or that their ex has lost attraction for them, or, things like this, that they really go hard for that physical connection. They really pursue that physical connection. They really pursue that attraction because they're so terrified of being put in the friend zone. What you want to be careful of is going for that physical connection. It's totally fine to do that, but you want to be careful about going for that physical connection at the expense of the emotional connection, okay? Because obviously an emotional connection is a powerful thing that's going to really convince your ex to want to be in a relationship with you. Chances are they're not going to want to commit to you or be in a relationship with you simply because the two of you slept together or because the two of you have some sort of great physical connection. They're probably going to want to be in a relationship with you because they feel a strong emotional connection. So please make sure that you're not just going for the physical connection at the expense of the emotional connection, okay? Otherwise, you may end up in some weird territories like as, friends with benefits or, something like that. So really be careful about that. Again, that's not to downplay the physical connection. That absolutely is important. We just want to make sure that we are not sacrificing the emotional connection for the physical connection. And by the way, you don't really need to worry about the whole friend zone thing with your ex. We've made many videos about this in the past. As long as you and your ex had like an actual relationship where the two of you were, legitimately physically attracted to one another, you don't have to worry about the friend zone. Unless like something dramatically huge has happened, your ex is probably still attracted to you. Okay, like unless you've had some sort of personality break, or they've had a personality break, or something weird like that has happened, where it's just like, whoa, you're not the same person. Then your ex is probably still attracted to you, and you don't need to worry about the friend zone. We've made other videos on this in the past. I'm not going to rehash this too much, but you don't need to worry about it. So you don't really need to worry about the physical connection as much as maybe a lot of people might think that they need to. But what you do want to prioritize is that emotional connection. Okay, the emotional connection is, of course, how we bond, how we have this shared experience with one another. And that is, the foundation of where great connections are formed from, great memories, and the impulse to actually want to be in a relationship with someone. You could want to sleep with someone, but you're probably not going to want to actually commit to someone unless you have a great emotional connection, at least unless you have like no other options or something like that. Then maybe you might think about committing to someone just because they're hot. I don't know, but that's not particularly inspiring. But we do want to focus on the emotional connection. So if your ex is sending you sexual sort of material, what you want to do if you're in a place where you're not okay with just having the pure physical interaction, then what you want to do is you don't want to punish them for it per se, because obviously you want them to be attracted to you, you want them to feel comfortable expressing their attraction towards you. You don't want to punish them for it, but what you want to do is you want to enforce some sort of boundary, right? So for example, if you weren't comfortable having some sort of sexual connection outside of a committed relationship, you might say something like, that sounds really nice. That does sound like it would feel really good. However, if I'm being honest with you, I don't feel comfortable doing that outside of a committed relationship. Okay, that way you're rewarding them for their interest in you, but you're also expressing some sort of boundary. And then, of course, you would pivot and shift towards the emotional connection. And by the way, if you want to learn more about emotional connection, we do, of course, have our playlist on advanced relational skills, which covers basically connecting on an emotional level. Check it out right up there. But we want to really focus on building that emotional connection so that we have this full connection with our ex, not just this physical connection. We want to think about this very carefully before we move forward with, responding to a physical or sexual text message or some sort of physical advance, maybe not even a text, maybe the two of you are spending time together and things are starting to get a little hot and interesting, and maybe you're not sure what you want to do. But you want to start thinking about this. Okay, are there covert contracts involved? Can you be okay with this, assuming it never leads to anything? If so, okay, great. Take it where you want to take it. But if you're not okay with that, if there's a part of you that says, okay, there's maybe like some covert contract thing going on with me, some sort of strings attached, so to speak, where it's like, okay, part of me is thinking, if we sleep together, then you'll want to get back together with me. If we hook up, then, you'll fall back in love with me again. Okay, that's kind of a setup with a covert contract, and we want to be careful about that. So when that is the case, what we want to do is we want to, not walk into that, because obviously you are carrying a covert contract into that. And if you walk directly into it without knowing yourself, you're going to end up potentially very frustrated, very disappointed, etc. It's not to say you won't. Maybe your ex would commit to you if you slept together, but I don't want you making that gamble if you're not certain about this and how you feel about it. And then, maybe lovingly lay down some boundaries and just let them know that, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this. And for whatever reason, you don't have to say the boundary that I said. I know some people just like to take verbatim what I say and just run with it. But, I'm not telling you these things so you can just take them verbatim. I'm telling you them so that you can say, okay, this is what it looks like. Let me adapt it to what makes sense for me. Let me adapt it to my voice and maybe what my boundary is. I'm not saying that, like, you can't have you can't sleep together with someone outside of a committed relationship. That's your choice to make. If it's okay with you, go for it. If it's not okay with you, if you have some sort of boundary about like, oh, we got to wait till we get married or something, then, go with that. But follow your boundary, okay? And then, of course, you want to make sure to build up that emotional connection as well, too. So please do that so that we're not just nurturing and building that physical connection, because, the last thing that I think a lot of people want is to just end up as friends with benefits with their ex. I mean, if that's okay with you, cool, go with it. But if it's not okay with you, then, make sure you build up that emotional connection as well, too. But anyway, I hope this video has been helpful for you. If it has been, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I'm pretty sure that will help you build the emotional connection with your ex. The one thing I can guarantee you is that it won't hurt the emotional connection with your ex. So please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel down below as well too. And if you are interested in checking out our course called the Ex Solution Program that covers this and many other complex situations that you may experience with your ex, please feel free to check out the link down below. And if you do want to learn more about emotionally connecting with your ex, please feel free to check out this video series right over here, or please feel free to check out this video right here. But once again, thank you so much. Please take care, and I'll talk to you next time.